Toonami Studios.
Black Widow, issue number 7. That's right, folks. Thompson and Casagrande are back at it again with the start of a new arc of their Black Widow book called I Am the Black Widow. And does this book only exist because a movie's coming out? Sure. But hey, you're doing something unique with it, and it's some of my favorite art on the store shelves right now. It looks fantastic, and I like every second of this book. It's really fun, really cool. Still, check it out, guys. If you haven't read this book yet, I recommend giving it a read. So we open up this book, and Natasha is still having some flashbacks to her child and her husband. And we wake up, and we kind of just catch up on where we left things in the last issue. So we saved this girl named Lucy from the Apogee. And now Yelena and Natasha are kind of training her to do the right thing. But Natasha's more on the side of like, I'm just helping this girl get back on her feet. Yelena's like, maybe we should reopen our own version of the Red Room, and we could start a school. You know, schools are popular in Marvel right now, so maybe we should do that. But they're not going to do it. Like, that's not what they should do. There's nothing about that is what Natasha wants to be a part of. So they just have a little bickering, you know, like two sisters who have been at it for a long time. They have their back and forth. And basically we realize that, okay, so maybe we should figure out what this Apogee guy is doing, because he might be doing something terrible to other people. And we should stop him. So we have to get a little bit of information on that. And to do that, we need a spy to go inside and infiltrate the area, because this Apogee guy likes to recruit young women. Of course you do. You're a villain. That's what you're going to do. So Natasha's like, no, I already thought of that. I planted somebody a few days ago. So we see that Natasha is talking to one of the people who is a Spider-Girl. Now, this is Anya. I can't remember for the life of me what Spider-Girl this is. But her hair's up in like a ponytail, so I'm like, is this the one in the white suit? I think it is. But it's just a young Spider-Girl, one of the million ones we have running around in the Marvel Universe, and Natasha recruits her to go undercover for her, doing the spider thing. The Spider-Girl's at it again, as Anya says. She's super excited to work with Natasha, which I'm like, who wouldn't be? I mean, I would. I'm not a spy, but I'd love to work with Natasha. And back in the present, we see that Yelena's like, really? You're going ahead and doing this stuff without me. The sisters are bickering again, and it makes sense. Like, these characters have been at it for a long time. I'm fine with them having a little bit of conflict. It's cute. It's fun. It's what we're going to see in the movie. So do it here. I do like when they emphasize that Yelena is the White Widow. I think that's going to make it easier for like audiences to understand the difference between Natasha and Yelena when the movie comes around. So makes sense to me. That's kind of fun. And it's like, okay, we got our person implanted, and now we realize that he's doing that. He calls his followers, this Apogee guy calls his followers the Ulio, which could mean like a hodgepodge or like a mixture of different things. And it's like, okay, he's probably going to do something bad, so we should meet with our informant, who is Anya, and maybe figure out a plan we could have. So Natasha and Yelena are going to get out of it. But before that, Natasha goes to talk to Lucy. Basically just like, if you don't want to stay here, I'm not going to force you. We can take you anywhere you want to go. But Lucy's like, no, I think I'm going to take my chances and stay here. And we see that this thing is manifesting from her hands. And we realize that when she was kidnapped by Apogee, Lucy has been given some weird powers. And I love it. You know, Casagrande's art, I say it every time, it's just beautiful and gorgeous. And it's so prestigious and amazing. But the color choices really justify the way this book looks sometimes. And when Lucy like uses her powers, like the page turns this really great blue. It's gorgeous. It's the best use of color, I think, in comics at the moment. It's just so unique and brilliant. It's just absolutely breathtaking. So Lucy has powers. Let's deal with that later. But before that, we got to go investigate some stuff with Anya. And I just love this. It's just a really fun book. This is the kind of side of like the spy espionage thing that you don't focus on a lot in comic books. It's just more like, let's get to like the actual place and have that happen. But this is just like, let's take some down moment. We'll get to the big action in the next few issues. Let's take a moment to justify the Yelena and Natasha stuff and the Lucy stuff. So I'm like, yeah, let's go for it. So they meet Anya. They figure out like there's something happening at a church. They're going to check it out. It's very cultish stuff, which makes sense to me. So we see Natasha and Yelena are like dressed up in the robes. They're at the church. This Apogee guy is going to poison a bunch of people. He's looking like a lunatic. He's got like a fur collar and like a Cobra Commander face. And it looks like he's going to poison a bunch of people. So Natasha's like, okay, we can't let him kill some dudes, so we should act now. Natasha shoots the vial out of his hands. And then a fight breaks out after she takes off the hood. And again, The artwork is so gorgeous in these panels. I love every second of it. Like, there's just like the splash page of Yelena and Natasha just fighting through all of these occultists. It looks so cool and unique. And we realize that as this is happening, all of the people that are a part of this weird cult thing, they all have powers. They all have superpowers of some variety. And they kidnap a guy that's like really plastic and stretchy, like a Stretch Armstrong type. They call him Gumby. But I'm just like, cool, man. This is really fun. It looks so gorgeous, and it moves pretty fast, which I'm okay with. Like, we spent a lot of time at the beginning just establishing what we're doing here, which is fine. So we capture Gumby, we try to interrogate him, and it's just really cool stuff. Like, it's just classic espionage things, and this is kind of what you need to do with Black Widow. Like, I don't know what else you could really do for a Black Widow story. Like, I'm sure if I was given the opportunity, I could come up with a Black Widow pitch for you, but I don't have one just lying around. You know, it's like, what else do you do? So sure, you know, get Yelena in there, do some weird cult stuff where they find peoples of powers who disintegrate when they get caught. Makes sense to me, man. Makes sense to me. So that's what happens to Gumby. Before he's able to talk, he starts melting and his powers disintegrate, and he bursts into anything. And since Lucy is there, she's like, oh shit, is that gonna happen to me? And I'm like, hey, it might, who knows? And that's where the issue ends, and I'm just like, this is great, man. Give me some more of this, Kelly Thompson. This is the really fun and interesting book. It's kind of amazing. We still got a Black Widow title going on, considering all like the random crap Marvel produces every week. It's just really nice to have this come back in a strong and fun way. The artwork is phenomenal. It is gorgeous. The colors are amazing. And it's a really interesting story for Natasha. It's not something we get a lot of, because, I don't know what else you do with her. So doing something is better than nothing, I suppose. This is just a really fun book. It's really solid. I recommend checking it out. Like I said, you guys, it's worth your time. It's worth a read, and the artwork alone is going to leave you breathless. So, Black Widow, issue number 7, I'm going to give an 8 out of 10. Now, thank you guys for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, Patreon, Twitter, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you in the next one. Have fun, stay safe, good luck.